This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Many of us enjoy collecting crystals. It's not just a pretty stone. It's doing more than that. We're going to learn about crystals today. And I didn't even know that this was in her wheelhouse until we mentioned it, I think off air at one point. She does aromatherapy, essential oils, sells them, concocts them, knows deep in terms of what goes with what to move your life forward. Crystals can do the same thing, and she's got deep knowledge on that. She's the CEO of Awakening Spirit, and she's Kathleen Flanagan back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you doing?
Eager to learn more about crystals. I've been collecting for a couple of years. I am such a novice when it comes to this. I can't remember the names of them. I have a handful on the desk right here. I don't, I know what a few of them are. So here to learn. Before we go anywhere with this, why are they so important? What do they do for us? Where's they're rocks. Why is it better for us? Why is there energy harnessed within them? What's going on there?
Okay, so basically, crystals are actually living beings, and they are activated with when we interact with them is on the electromagnetic field, and it does it with any biological creature. So they're actually growing in the earth. Now, I went to the caves down in New Mexico. I've been wanting to go there, and I finally did. And there's all these stalactites down there, all sorts of things that are growing underneath the earth. And I decided that at that moment that the earth really liked sex, because a lot of these stalactites look like penises. And it was so funny because the way you're actually watching things grow down there. And so it kind of gave me a different perspective about crystals too when I got to go into that cave. And I don't know how far down we were, but we were really in the earth, and it was like had to breathe for a little while on that elevator.
I am laughing inside because this text is from 1 hour ago from my friends, and I'm part of a men's group, and we support, we do community service and everything, and we have what's called an artifact, and it just signifies the group and just mindfulness and all of that. And we've done a whole bunch of different ones. And for this tour of the group, me and the other man wanted to get a certain crystal. We've never done it before. And what you just said, what they look like, the shapes look like, he just sent this to me, and it's a smoky quartz. And we're going to get that. He already got it, just arrived. And look at the, look at the shape of it. To your point, and it does come to a point. But what we're gonna do with that is, since I opened this door, I'm going to explain. The smoky quartz, as I understand it, wards off negative energy and had a lot of like positive properties. We're going to give it to each man to hold for a week, keep in his possession, and then transfer it on as part of the artifact. Just because the rest of them have never even heard of crystals. They're open to it, but trying something different like that. But I'm just laughing at the like you brought that up.
This is funny because I was going to talk about this is one of my smoky quartz.
I didn't know that. I always thought that they would be like that one, like smoky colored.
Yeah, and I have a different one. I mean, they're all different types, but this is the one that I had, and I have a smaller one which is on a wand. But I'm going to read about the smoky quartz so you have a little bit understanding of what you guys are getting into.
For sure.
So the smoky quartz is one of the most brilliant of all the dark stones. It ranks first in ability to contain the highest amount of light force in a black color. Because the color black is associated with the first chakra, smoky quartz is one of the most powerful stones to use in crystal healing layouts to stimulate and purify this energy center. If unevolved, the consciousness associated with the root chakra can be very decadent and concerned only with personal gratification. But when the chakra becomes radiant with light and balanced with the upper chakras, it then becomes the foundation upon which the spiritual force is manifested in the physical body. Smoky quartz channels the white light energy of the crown chakra into the first chakra to be rooted deep into the physical plane. And as this occurs, one becomes personally empowered on earth with the forces and blessings of the heavens.
I guess we picked a good one.
I think you picked a really good one.
Wow.
Definitely. And I think that's so funny because you say that, and I'm going to tell you about my journey of a smoky quartz, which was really strange. But somebody had told me, I had a computer years ago. It didn't matter what computer it was, it blew up. It would always blow up. I was always losing files no matter what. And I remember talking to a gentleman once about it and my frustration. And he said, well, you and the computer are having like war games. You're trying to see who has more power. And I looked at him like, what? And he said, yeah, because you have so much power and energy, and the computer, of course, does too, but it's like you're battling it. So he said, what I would suggest is you get a smoky quartz and put it up with your computer, and you shouldn't have any problems ever again. And you know what? I will not have a PC without a smoky quartz because I've never had a problem since. Isn't that bizarre?
I'm writing that down.
But I've had people tell me that they fight with their computers, that it's always blowing up. You know, it's an energy thing. It simply is that.
Wow.
And so I would tell them, get a smoky quartz and it should stop your problems. And from what I've heard, it seems to work for others besides just me.
I'm getting one. I don't have one. I mean, we have that one that I just showed you. Wow, thank you for that. I believe in all of this. The energy is amazing.
It is. And so I'm going to tell you stories about some of my stuff because they're just so much fun. This is a cluster, and I'm just going to show you a variety of clusters. And this is a different type of a cluster. And of course, these are not cheap crystals. And then here's another one. So one day I was hosting a bridal shower for a friend of mine. And, she's 20 some years old and her mom's over there. And of course, at 20 some, you're really about sex and marriage and what you're going to wear on the honeymoon and all that kind of stuff. And she was one of those kind of people. And I didn't have an issue with it. Mom had an issue with it. But what was so funny is I put these cluster crystals around the house. So wherever somebody sat, they were going to get zapped. And I programmed every single one of them because you have to program them. And I said, if anyone starts pulling any crap, zap them and get them back into a happy place. So her mother was sitting on a chair next to this one crystal, not one of these, one of the smaller ones that are a little bit happier kind of feeling. And to me, it reminded me of like pixies, little pranksters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here and I'm watching her and she keeps doing this. She keeps looking over to her shoulder like somebody's like poking her. And she's like, she's getting angry. And I sat there and I laughed because it was like, oh my God, this thing is really stopping her from being whatever she wants to do. And she actually then started to enjoy being at the party.
You have to program the crystals?
You have to program the crystals.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard of that?
Never.
Yeah, no, you program them. Every book that I have out here and others, you program them. You give them the intention of what you want. So I'm going to talk about this one. This is a lingam. This is the male phallic.
Okay.
And I use this in healing. Because, so much of us, we carry so much stuff and we bury it within our sexual organs areas. And most people won't go there and touch it. Sexual abuse is around there, all sorts of things. And we stuff things there knowing that nobody will ever go into our so-called private parts. Well, this one does a really good job. Put it on there and it starts activating and it helps them to move it. So it's the male phallic, but it really does work. And especially if women, these are my experiences only, And with women who have been sexually abused, this is like they can tolerate the stone. They feel it and they don't necessarily like what they're feeling, but they're allowing it. Because it's activating and releasing trauma within the body.
What kind of crystal is that?
This is a lingam.
This is new territory.
I know.
Like, oh my gosh. So I think that every crystal has its own particular properties, and then you get what you think you need and you just run with it. How does one program a crystal?
Well, basically, you just put your intention of what you want the crystal to do. So I'm going to talk about this one. This is a transmitter. Now, when I first got this crystal, it was all white, which meant that it was a masculine crystal, because masculine crystals are clear and feminine are smoky, kind of like how this one is, very smoky and white. So that's a feminine crystal. So when I started using this on healing, because what I would do is I would take the tuning fork and I would put it on top of this, and what it would do is drive in the energy of what I was doing for my client. Because of that, it's getting smoky, like healing properties. So now this is becoming a masculine and feminine crystal at the same time.
Wow.
So I'm changing this crystal because it was all white. I'm like, when did this all start happening? I just happen to pay attention because I don't pay attention to my crystals. I just use them.
Isn't that a clear quartz?
It was a clear quartz. It's not anymore.
Point.
But see, that's the thing. Crystals are always evolving. So then there's other crystals, and I'm not going to go on because I didn't bring those in. So when you have crystals that have, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this is where it's a straight, perfect pyramid. That's an Isis crystal. So that means you have access to ancient knowledge. Then there's crystals where it has pyramids within pyramids inside one of the facets. So if you see little ones, those are record keepers. And what that means that there's ancient knowledge in there. And if you are the holder of that record, when you hold it, it will download to you. And those records, those pyramids will actually go away. Do you know how hard it is? Well, I found record keepers. That didn't mean they gave me the information right away, but I don't seem to have any record keepers anymore. So I must have taken the information from them.
Now, the information you refer to, is that information that should be coming to you or just information?
No, it would come to you. It would come to you because only the record keeper, if the crystal resonates, because when you hold a crystal, if it feels right for you or not. Do you know that?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when I go to buy a crystal, I will put my hand over the trays and see what resonates. In fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different crystals in front of me right now. I just laid them out since we were talking, and I can run my hand over them and feel it being drawn to one particular one. It's got, and I did this like a week ago. It was a completely different crystal. It's so weird
because
how
it's
that
resonating
works.
with where you are right now. So what you do is you can ask the crystal, what is the message you're wanting to deliver?
Oh, wow.
Because the crystal will do that. So this is a lithium crystal. Now, I don't know if you can find things like this anymore. I bought this many, 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 many years ago. And what this is, it's lithium, okay? We have drugs that are lithium.
Yeah.
My mom used to be on it because
my friend,
all of the teenagers at once.
My friend's dad had some heart issues. I'm talking when I was in my 20s, and I just remember him being on lithium.
Yeah. Well, this is a lithium crystal, and it used to be brighter. I made it darker because I had so much head stuff wrong. Lots of things were wrong with me in my head back then. And somebody said, if you use this will actually bring peace and tranquility to your mind. And it did.
Wow.
It took a while because there was so much stuff, but it did. I barely ever touched this crystal in years. I have it, I carry it around. It sits on my nightstand and that's all it does. But this was a crystal this was probably one of the first crystals I bought and started testing it out. And it wasn't a quartz.
What is the property? And by the way, I keep this in my pocket, started doing it recently. I know it's
Uh-huh.
hard to see, but I believe it's a clear quartz.
It looks like it.
What's the deal with those?
Quartz crystals, they just balance your energy. They get you back into alignment. You can use, they're really good in any kind of healing, putting them down if you're going to lay stones on people for healing purposes. The quartz are the ones that have the record keepers, they're the ISIS, they're the ones that are the most prolific that we grow. Now, when I came out to Colorado, there was a lot of raw crystals in Colorado. I brought a suitcase home of Rocky Mountain crystals. That's what I did because they were crystals. And people thought I was nuts, but see, I was just learning about crystals and how they were helping me just to calm down. So as I evolved, I want to show this one. This is dioptase. Now, this helps with heart issues. Like people are really closed down, and this actually is designed for the heart. So as I was going through quartz crystals, I started refining because it was almost like the quartz told me what I needed and then sent me on the quest to find them.
That's
Not that I knew what this was at the time I bought it. I just knew I had to have it.
the colors on that are
Aren't they beautiful?
striking.
Yeah. It's like an emerald.
Yeah, but even richer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it almost does it. It looks like green paint. Somebody painted that. It doesn't
Yeah.
look real.
And it's sparkly too. And you can
Wow.
see there's a little bit of the quartz right there too. And so when I got dioptase, because this is what they call it, it's as clear as the deep green waters and as powerful as emeralds. Dioptase comes to us as a beacon of hope for healing the inner realms of the heart chakra, for deep seated forgotten heartaches and ancient wounds festering in forgotten chambers of feelings. Dioptase is unsurpassed in its ability to transmit a potent, deep green ray into the inner recesses of the heart. It has the potential to send its dynamic healing energy to any aspect of the heart that has been emotionally wounded in relationships with others. I can't tell you how much I have used this crystal in my day.
What's it called again?
Dioptase.
Is it
Dioptase.
out comes the notebook again. Give me that one more time.
Dioptase.
Is that one still, is it hard to find now?
I am not sure if this is hard to find. I think if you go into more of your stores, you'll find it because they usually have a wide variety of things.
Hmm.
This I might have found at a metaphysical fair because, that's how I used to find a lot of my stuff until, they started having more of the metaphysical stores, but they never have what a rock shop has ever.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, well, if you can't carry all that stuff, to a a different location,
Right.
you gotta lug that stuff, and some of them can get heavy. Wow, what is that?
This is a double terminated. These are not the easiest things to find either. Most crystals are single terminated, which means they have the flat bottom and then one termination, but this is a double terminator. So this I use a lot in healing because it merges the masculine and feminines, the upper and the lower, heaven and earth. It's that type of crystal. So when I'm using it, a lot of times I'll take it and I'll spin it wherever I have it placed on the body. And then I'll spin it backwards, like I'm taking them up and bringing them down, really discombobulating the energy to break it up. And, and that's probably about one of the only double terminators that I have because they are so hard to find.
So
And their power is even more intense than a regular crystal.
this one, I would love to know what it is. Out of all them here, this one today, when I run my hand over it, I know it's kind of hard to see.
Could it be hematite?
I've heard that name before.
Is
I know
it like is it metallic looking feeling?
Um, not really. It almost looks like a smoky quartz, to be honest with you, now that I'm
Could
looking at
be. It very much could be because smoky quartz could get very dark.
but I would say you can't see through it, but it is somewhat translucent where it's not like pitch black. sort of like a gray. Um, I don't know, but I know it's hard to see, and it
I
almost
know,
has.
I know, and I've got something that's on my mind on what it could be, and I know I ran through it on my one of my books. It's another one. It's like hematite, but it's not quite hematite.
So I'm looking at it. I brought a light out so I can see the colors in it within, and it's sort of a tiny touch of like a mauve color within. You know, it call it like a smoky quartz with some mauve color within that. I don't know what it is, but it's resonating for me. Like I put my hand over it. Um, this one, hermaphrodite, I think they call it.
An aphrodite,
It's shiny, but it's black. Um,
obsidian. That's the word I'm looking for.
Thank you. Okay. What's the deal with that? You know, black
Um,
obsidian, I
I
think it is.
actually have obsidian. I use it, not a lot. Of course, you're gonna now. I can't find it because I'm looking for it.
And I always hear that name come up. I don't, that seems to be one of the more popular ones, I guess. Um, do you do that when you're going to pick out a crystal? Do you put your hand over it to see if it
Always.
resonates? Yeah.
I always do, especially when you're like, okay, where is it? I do exactly that. And then you kind of hone in on it. And then I pick it up and feel it. And if it resonates, I take it. And if it's not, something's moving, I'll use both hands because I want to make sure it's really for me.
Ooh,
And that's what I do is I use both hands because what you're receiving in this hand is different than what you'll receive in your left hand.
funny you should say that because I had two just now. Actually, what I carry in my pocket that oh, now I'm forgetting what the smoky quartz, not smoky quartz, my bad. The clear quartz, and
Mhm.
this other one, I'm not really sure what it is, sort of like a
Oh,
orange.
that could be topaz or it could be carnelian.
And
It looks
I
more like a carnelian. I love that stone. It's so soft.
yes, you're right. It is. It's very smooth, very soft. And I have these in my pocket as of like the last week. Somebody told me they're good to carry. I don't know, so why not? But to your point, when I hold them in my hands, one resonates more than the other one. When I switch hands, it's a different feeling.
Hmm.
Hmm. How do
You
you
pay
know?
attention to this stuff. You play. That's what you do. You play.
It's fun. And when you did I ever tell you the rose quartz story?
Uh-uh.
I'm gonna laser this down, but I'm in one of those. Oh, I'm in one of those shops. I'm on vacation, visiting a friend. He's into them. He's not into the energy of them. He just likes, stones. Pick up a bunch of rose quartz. I don't know why. My mom's name was Rose. So I come back home and my daughter needed to go to the hospital. So I drive to the hospital, valet parking. She's inside. The valet parker says, "Oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh, that's the best. What a great idea." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "That rose quartz you have on your rear view. I'm gonna do that. I an hour before I just put it on my rear view mirror. Maybe in memory of my mom, whatever. I love that. I love that." And he couldn't have been more than like 22. And I reached in my pocket and I was like, "Well, you know what? I have another one. I just got back from vacation. Here." I gave it to him. I go in the hospital. They tell me we don't have a room for your daughter. She's going to have to be in like this transitional area. Not very nice. How long? Could be a few days. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh boy. So I hold the rose quartz in my hand and I'm just vibing. Like, even to my mom, please, find a room for her. They can't imagine her being here for 30 minutes later. Nurse walks out. "Hey, we got a room for you. You're all good to go." Oh, fantastic. They assign a nurse to her, my daughter. The nurse's name was Rose and my mother's last name. So now I'm feeling like, oh, okay, thank you very much. And then there's another nurse that got assigned. I found a day later, like a hospital worker, just to check on you. You need something. Guess what her name was?
Rose.
And my daughter was fine. Everything turned out fantastic. I went to the rose quartz. There's something there. There's too many synergies connected to that for it to be just, yeah, what a coincidence. I choose to believe there's something there.
Yeah. And I listened to, because the main thing with the crystals, even though I got all the books and was going to like become this so-called master of the crystals,
Mm.
um, I didn't, but I am, because I learned to work with the crystals myself. You just got to trust what you receive with the crystals and just follow what they're telling you to do, because they do a lot of healing benefits. That's why I brought them into my practice with, facials and sound and everything, because they amplify what you're doing. So essential oils can be really good to get the body moving, get the smells, get the relaxation going, start the healing. But then you bring crystals in and you lay them out in a certain way, everything changes. And then, because I'll put crystals on somebody's hands, their forehead, all the way down, they are decorated in crystals. And then I do whatever I'm doing. And then I come back and it's like, okay, I got to change the crystals out, because I have all these crystals all over in my treatment room. And it's like, okay, you need this one, you need this one, you need this one. Okay, move this one over here, put this here, do this. And I'm doing this. It's the funniest thing to watch. I'm sure if I ever, should be interesting to ever see myself videoed on something like that. But it's like, I'm just being told what to do. And I trust that, because even if I may not remember everything what a crystal does,
Mm-hmm.
they do. And my higher self knows. And I trust that. And I've had so much personal use with all the crystals that I know what it does for me. So I have an understanding of what it will do for them.
I've learned so much today. I had no idea you can program them. Of course, you should put intention into everything, but I never even considered doing it within a crystal.
If you want something to say, if you want to always feel calm or whatever, program the crystal to do what you want. But the other thing too in healing, and this is just because I know we're getting close to the time, you want to clean them. Like you said, you still let them sit in the sunshine. That's a really good thing to do for them if they don't need a deep cleaning. But if they need a deep cleaning, then what I like to do is water. Okay, I'll have to tell you a story real quick too. Water, I like to do warm water, sea salt, and put them outside, and that does a real deep, thorough cleaning. And they come out sparkling, and they're like little kids, like, "Oh, I finally got a bath." It's like what they sound like. So I learned one time that you can actually take the crystals and put them in a creek, a running creek. Well, Colorado has lots of running creeks. So I put my crystals in a bag and I went on a hike, and I put my crystals in this ice cold Rocky Mountain Creek, because that's what we have here is ice cold from the mountains. Every single one of them were like, ah! They were screaming at the top of their lungs. They were clean.
Wow. I didn't even think of that. The moon?
If you listen, you're in nature anyways, but if you listen, you can hear them. They speak.
I have to be more open to that, because this is another area I didn't even think of. And even the water with, I don't even think of that. Yes, cleaning. But you hear things, so then you stick with them. Put them in the sun. Moonlight when it's a full moon.
Yeah, that's good too.
Good time to clean. Yes, we're out of time. You don't sell crystals, right?
I don't sell crystals, no.
But you sell everything else.
I sell everything else. Yes.
You really do.
Well, crystals they're so private, and it's just a different type of thing. I would have to narrow in on focusing on crystals if I was going to do that.
Gotcha. You have so much knowledge. In the beginning, I thought it was just about aromatherapy. You run very deep, and it's fantastic, refreshing, educational. I got work to do with these crystals. That's all I'm saying. How do we find you? How do we connect with you, Kathleen?
You can reach me at awakeningspirit.com, and that's a KMF at awakeningspirit.com. And if you want to learn maybe a little bit more about some of the other things, I'm also at KathleenMFlanagan.com as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Super cool. All right, we'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.